do this on the larger channel and talk about what just happened. I had a feeling this is going to be going on. So basically, instead of doing my live stream last night here and doing my usual, I had some other things I wanted to talk about. But basically, I'd covered everything, and I knew that something major, the announcement to this would be happening, that this Nasrallah, who is the leader of Hezbollah, would be confirmed to be no longer of the earth, and some of the implications that are going and what might happen now, okay? So I'm going to go through all the details of where I basically left off last night on the crisis report and put it all together and take you through basically what has happened between then and now, to fill in the gaps, because if I didn't come out here and do something tomorrow or until tomorrow, I feel like we would have too much of a time between. This is too much of a major announcement not to follow up and to look at all this and give you an idea of what in the heck is going on and what are the implications of the region of the Middle East. And it really will have very far-reaching issues and potential and other things going on. So I'm going to do this as I do, the crisis report, read through style with everything. And this way I can hopefully incite some people that are over here that have never really seen what the crisis report is about, but also talk about things of what else is going on with all this and just kind of give an analysis. I'm I'm not patting myself on the back too much. I get things incorrect, but a lot of the stuff that has gone on, I think if you've been following the channel, you've had a little bit of a heads up of all of this, and one guy a few days ago basically said that I was making it out like Israel was winning too well, or they were doing too well, and they weren't actually doing that good. I think that whole sentiment, unless a larger war happens and numerous actors in the region pile on, I think we've pretty much seen in the last 72 hours that Israel is not playing around. They've taken the gloves off, and they are dictating what is going on in the battlefield. Nobody wins a war, okay? The only people that win are the rich what's in the background that are profiting from it. Generally, when a war is going on, whether it's, I don't even know what to call this thing. I mean, it's basically a regional war at this point, but people are reluctant to call it that. But what goes on is a lot of people lose a lot of things. The average person in this area loses their home, their stuff, loved ones, animals, you name it, it gets lost. If you look at the photos after the bombing of the Dakhia area where the Hezbollah leadership was gathered, afterwards there was numerous people that were just living on the streets, that were literally just sitting on curbs, not knowing what to do or where to go, because, for them, they were, lucky enough not to be in any of these buildings, but also, I mean, the toll yesterday, from what I understand, was about 300 people, but these were major residential areas. So please do not forget the fact that there were a lot of innocent people that were killed. Now, of course, you ask the Israelis, they're going to say that this was all worth it, that they're trying to stop more and more death and especially protect their people. Now, the question is what is going to be the response? What is Iran going to do? What is Egypt going to do? What's Turkey going to do? What is going to be the response to all this? Who is going to step up? There's already been kind of an idea of who the leader will be to take over. And some of the things going forward, we're going to cover all that. That's why I'm doing it this way. But there's a lot of implications that are going to be happening from here. But don't forget that there are a lot of people that are dying, and we do want this whole conflict to come to an end. We don't want this thing to get going. We don't want it to spiral out of control. Excuse me, but I do believe that it will spiral out of control. It just kind of depends on what a few of the other actors are going to do. To be honest with you, I don't think Iran is going to do too much as it stands right now. And I'll get into that and explain it. The problem is what will Lebanon do? What will Iraq and Syrian militias do? What will the Yemenis do? So there's other X factors around there. And we're just going to take you through it, okay? So we're at about 6 minutes. It's a good start. This is the way I do the crisis report for those that are not, privy to that whole channel. It basically is a open source intelligence gathering. I put it all together from all sides, and I just tell you everything and everybody's opinion from either east or west or whatever. And then from there, you guys make your own decisions. All right, here we go. Nasrallah has been confirmed dead. This, of course, is on the Substack, PrepperNow.substack.com, if you are looking for the crisis report or other posts like this. And the official word came out at about 7:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I started doing this at about 8 a.m., and I knew pretty much assuredly at that point that we're going to go in a new direction. So here we go. Iranian Vice President on the Beirut strikes. Our government will pursue the Zionist crime in international forums. A billboard is now up in Tehran that says Hezbollah is alive. Israeli security services have evidence regarding Nasrallah's killing in the attempt and operation, according to Israeli media reports now. That, of course, has been floating around since Friday evening. They didn't want to give it official. The thing is that when you are martyred, as they say, they have to officially announce it. It's like a rule in their religion that if you are freedom fighting in the name of Allah, which they believe they are, that it has to be announced and official. You can't lie about that. So people know that if they are announced and all this, then it is true that this has happened. There's no deception that they can do on this, supposedly. All right. IDF also says commander of the Southern Front, Hezbollah, Ali Khalaki, and other officials were also killed in the Beirut strike. Still no statement from Hezbollah. IDF reportedly hacked into the communication frequency of the control tower of the Beirut airport, announced that a certain Iranian aircraft was about to land there and that it should not be allowed to land at the airport. If they let it land, the IDF will use force. Imagine you're sitting there, you're trying to get out of a war-torn area, you've got a flight out, you're going to Tajikistan, see your great cousin Akhlaki, and you're going over there, and all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, the IDF has commandeered the loudspeaker system and said, a certain aircraft is about to land. If you value your life, you're not going to let it land, and you're going to turn it around because now the IDF has control of the airport. I mean, that's how just that's what command and control is to the Israelis. I mean, say what you will, whether you agree with them or not, they are literally commanding everything that is going on right now. And Hezbollah is, I mean, after the pager attack, they were on their back heels. Now with all of their upper administration, whatever the heck you want to call it, basically taken out in 85 one-ton bunker buster bombs. I mean, they freaking leveled this Dakhia area where they believed they all were, and now it's confirmed that they were. They're not playing around. This is not anything that they're in it to win it. Hezbollah has one commander left in the military chain of command. One person said, is this the person that is the rat that has basically allowed the IDF to know all of this information? That's a very good question. Following the hit of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, this is not the end of our capabilities toolbox. The message is clear. To anyone threatening the state of Israel, we will know how to reach you. Source close to Hezbollah tells AFP that contact with Nasrallah has been lost since Friday night. And this is kind of how they knew. They do actually have items of his that confirm. I believe they found a ring, and I'm pretty sure they found parts of him in areas of this crater. All Iranian IRGC affiliated media are playing dead. Zero reports from the situation of Hezbollah leader Nasrallah. IDF poster showing Hezbollah leader Nasrallah with a headline identifying him as eliminated has been going around on Israeli media. Why Syrians are celebrating the death of Nasrallah, this is a question. They were going around passing out cookies. They're very celebratory. Well, since 2012, Hezbollah has been active in Syria, aiding the Assad regime and suppressing the Syrian revolution with Iran and Russia. They're involved in several massacres and brutal sieges. So that is why there is a no love for that. Iranian aircraft not allowed to enter the airspace of Syria and Lebanon. It had to turn back after IDF threats. That's when they commandeered this speaker system or whatever. Iranian aircraft was not allowed to enter the airspace. That's a doubler, excuse me. Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei has been moved to a safe place, taking strict security measures, Reuters has reported. So he's not taking any chances, and he is worried that some of this vengeance by the Israelis might be exacted on him. He said it is obligatory for all Muslims to stand proudly next to the people of Lebanon and Hezbollah with their means and help it in confronting the usurping, cruel, and evil regime. The fate of this region will be determined by the resistance forces, and at the head of them is the proud Hezbollah. He also said the Zionist criminals should be known that they are too small to cause significant damage to the strong construction of Hezbollah in Lebanon. Netanyahu kind of poked fun at some of their rhetoric when he said that he referenced a spider web because Nasrallah had said that the Israelis were as strong as a spider's web, kind of basically saying that they are truly weak. And you know, obviously we're seeing what's going on the other side of things. And think about it too, 2 weeks ago, there are people that were wanting to get rid of Netanyahu. They were wanting to remove him. They were saying that this is too much. You know, they're not winning and yada, yada, yada. And I'm not saying they're winning now. I'm just saying that they've got them on their back heels. I mean, there's winning the battle and there's winning the war. There's a long way to go. So that's kind of what we're going to get to at the end of this. But basically, like I said, they've taken the gloves off, and they're not going to stop until they have Hezbollah completely deconstructed, whatever that may look like. The problem is that it's going to hurt a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people in Lebanon and, you know, the periphery that are going to lose their lives because at this point the Israelis are indiscriminately taking out buildings and neighborhoods and whatever else if they suspect there to be missiles or members of Hezbollah. All right. Khamenei says Lebanon will regret Israel's regret, or will make Israel regret this. Domino effect, IDF Arabic language spokesperson released a video depicting the domino effect of key Hezbollah leaders being taken out, concluding with a message to be continued. Senior Israeli official on the killing of Nasrallah to Wall Street Journal said that his powerful leadership is different. Some people are irreplaceable. Our preference is not to have a ground invasion. This could be a pivot. So they're hoping that this was kind of a way to do it so they don't have to do a ground invasion. Judging by what has gone on in Gaza and Rafah and the Philadelphia corridor axis, Israel does not want to go into another ground operation unless they absolutely have to. I think they are trying to make it so this will kind of take a lot of things out and set them back, but depends on what goes on now. The problem is with like all of these organizations, you take one out, another one pops right in. You know, they're pretty expansive. So, IDF shares new footage. Israeli F-15 jets took part in the elimination of Hezbollah leader Nasrallah and the HQ in Beirut. Official to Yedioth Ahronoth, that is an Israeli newspaper, online magazine, whatever. If Iran and Hezbollah escalate, Israel has many other targets to attack in Lebanon. So kind of a warning. French Foreign Ministry, Sky News Arabia. According to the information, Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah has been killed. They were kind of late to the game. Other people had already announced this, including Hezbollah. But they confirmed its leader Hassan Nasrallah was killed by Israel in Beirut. And then everything kind of changed. Full Hezbollah statement on Nasrallah. It said Hezbollah's leadership pledges to continue confrontation against Israel in support of Gaza and in defense of Lebanon. So they're saying they're not going anywhere. Iranian Foreign Minister mourns Nasrallah. The glorious path of the resistance leader will continue and his goal of liberating Jerusalem will be achieved. News anchor on the Lebanese Al Mayadeen channel, which is affiliated with Hezbollah, cannot hold back the tears while she was announcing the death of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, kind of like when Kim Jong-un or whatever sitting there on state TV crying because their leader has been taken out. The black flag raised at the shrine of Imam Reza in Mashhad, Iran, after the death of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Black flag is a customary symbol used in Shia Islam to express mourning. New York Times, quoting Israeli officials, Hezbollah members found Nasrallah's body and identified it at dawn on Saturday. More than 80 bombs were dropped within minutes on Nasrallah's location. Israeli leaders knew where Nasrallah was months ago and decided to attack him last week. So they knew where he was. So there's obviously someone in this whole command structure of Hezbollah who has been tipping them off. I don't know who it is, how it is, what it is, where it is, but someone is letting Israel know exactly what's going on and where it's going on. Hezbollah may announce soon Hashem Safiaddin, Secretary General, succeeding succeeding Nasrallah, according to the New York Times. Hashem Safiaddin is a prominent figure within Hezbollah, currently serving as the head of the group's executive council. He is also a cousin of Hassan Nasrallah, and he has close ties with Iran, familial connection. His son is married to the daughter of Qasem Soleimani, former commander of Iran's Quds forces. That, of course, is the guy that Trump took out in 2019-20, if I remember correctly. And they call it the curse of Soleimani. Anybody who sits with him is in the upper echelons of this whole network, eventually gets taken out. So we shall see if he joins him. But there's already basically been, it's not official, but that guy should be the one that is taking over for Hassan Nasrallah, who's officially been confirmed killed. Some people crying in the streets of Beirut after the death of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. Lebanese Al Mayadeen channel, short time ago, said a 6-year-old building in the Al Hadath area of the Dakhia in Beirut collapsed as a result of the Israeli attacks. So there's actually buildings still kind of falling, and the whole area is just crater. I mean, they leveled this place. There's no question that if you were under any of this, you're not getting out alive. IDF eliminated the leader of the terrorist organization Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah. IDF spokesman announced yesterday, Friday, the IDF killed Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of the Hezbollah terror organization and one of its founders, along with Ali Karaki, the commander of the Southern Front in Hezbollah, and other commanders in Hezbollah. Fighter jets of the Air Force, under the precise intelligence guidance of the intelligence wing and the defense system, attacked the central headquarters of Hezbollah, which is located underground under a residential building in the Dakhia area of Beirut. Attack was carried out while top brass of Hezbollah were at the headquarters and engaged in coordinating terrorist activities against the citizens of the State of Israel. During the 32 years of the terrorist Hassan Nasrallah's tenure as the leader of the terrorist organization Hezbollah, he was responsible for the murder of Israeli civilians and soldiers and for the planning and execution of thousands of acts against the State of Israel and around the world. Nasrallah was the main decision maker and the sole approver of strategic systemic decisions and sometimes also decisions in the organization. The organization Hezbollah and its leader, Hassan Nasrallah, joined the war against the State of Israel on October 8th. Since then, Hezbollah has continued to attack against the citizens of the State of Israel and has dragged the State of Lebanon and the entire region into escalation. IDF will continue to harm anyone who promises and engages in terror against the citizens of the State of Israel. That is the official IDF response. So that is where they're at right now. And the response of Khomeini is that the Zionist criminals should know that they are too small to cause significant damage to Hezbollah in Lebanon. All the resistance forces in the region stand by Hezbollah and support them. The fate of the region will be determined by the resistance forces. So, first and foremost, if you're into the crisis report, you like to read and just go and look at stuff, it links everything. You can go right there and put in your email. You don't have to pay for it. There are payment options if you like what I'm doing and you want to support. Up to you. There's like a $3 a month thing or a one-time, payment thing or whatever. So if you like what we're doing and you like this report coming out every day with about 30 to 45 minutes of everything going on in the region with links, transcript, and everything, I appreciate you going there. But basically at this point, folks, it all depends on Iran. It all depends on what Yemen does. It depends on what the militias in Iraq and Syria do, and what kind of command structure is put back into place in Hezbollah, if they can even do that at this point, which I think they can. But I mean, think of the disarray. Imagine the cabinet, the upper structure of government of any government in the world. You don't have to put a name on it. And having them completely taken out. That is exactly what has happened. Now, we have covered here that Hezbollah is very different than Hamas. It is much more strong and structured, but clearly the Israelis knew what the ace card was, and they played it. They started with the pager attack, they moved on to the walkie-talkie attack, and then as Netanyahu was effectively going on to the United Nations General Assembly for a bit of a head fake and to give his speech, Nasrallah and the upper management of Hezbollah thought that they had a little bit of a breath of freedom to go and meet in their building and do their thing. At that point, a half hour before his speech, Netanyahu gave the word that if they're there, you take them out. At that point, numerous jets from Israel flew over the Dakhia area of Beirut. They dropped 85 one-ton bombs in a succession of basically numerous bunker busters and completely leveled and cratered out the area where they believed Nasrallah and the upper management of Hezbollah was. And as it has been confirmed by Hezbollah, it is now official that they leveled it and they took the guy out. Israel, this guy on Carmel News, which is kind of affiliated with Israel, he says that Iran is not going to do anything. Okay, he says that basically they're using the Arabs as cannon fodder, and he doesn't, they don't care about Lebanon, they don't care about any of the other states. Their sole purpose is Iran, and they're not going to do anything. They're going to say they're going to respond, they're going to say they're going to respond, they're going to say they're going to respond, and nothing will really come of it. They've already seen this. This happened with the guy that they took out 2 months. I can't even remember the guy's name. It's been so long. I know Fawad Shakar was one, and not Sinwar. He's the guy that's still left. Anyway, it doesn't matter. These people were Haniyeh. They were, major players and ties with Iran And for 2 months now, they've been saying, we're going to take you out. We're going to respond when we feel. We're going to respond when we feel. We're going to respond. And it's not happening. That's because Iran knows that if they do any kind of response, especially after seeing anything like this, they're not going to do anything until they have absolute total backing by larger players. And I'm talking about countries like Iran or China, and most specifically Russia. Okay? And that's not going to happen right now. We're still a little ways away from that. So the good news is, like a super regional war, I don't think it's going to happen right now. I see it inevitably happening. The other thing is, what do players like Egypt and Turkey do? Okay? So Turkey is a NATO member. It's kind of pushing towards the east, though. It's been cozying up to Russia. It's not happy at all with what's going on in Lebanon. These are primarily Muslim countries that look and say, all you guys are doing is basically G-side on Muslim people. If it keeps going and there isn't an alleviation or a cessation of all of this, you might see a regional actor like Egypt or Turkey get involved in some way. I don't think it would be direct. I just can't see them joining the fray and just going full-on attack of Israel. But what I do see is fighters in the region saying, I've had enough. Israel obviously doesn't care. This is beyond country. This is beyond sovereignty. This is a religious matter. And them coming from the hills of Afghanistan and the stands of southern Asia Minor and Eurasia, coming from even places like Egypt or Africa, coming up and saying this is kind of the grand battle that is starting, and coming up and trying to go to war at that point because they're basically soldiers. Egypt, basically, I think will stand pat and not do anything. I don't think they'll allow any more ground to be taken beyond the Philadelphia axis, but at the same time, as it's been put out there, Hamas has been effectively cut off because there's no more tunnels bringing in weapons there. So that is not winding down, but it's so much less than it was. And then the big X factor, as I put out on my super secret channel, for those that know about it, Global Intel channel, youtube.com / all one word at Global Intel channel. Yemen is the big X factor. Yemen is the big X factor. They are battle hardened. They've been fighting against Saudi Arabia. If they decide that they're going to start to, and they've got a lot of underground networks. They've got a lot of advanced weaponry, missiles and such. If they start to really go and do things in the area and start sending, because they sent a cruise missile 2 days ago, you could see that kind of become a little bit of a sore point. The problem is that Yemen really doesn't have too many friends. Saudi Arabia could potentially take the opportunity because they've really got problems with Yemen there. So basically, what I see going on forward is, at least now for the next few months, and I could be wrong, and I hope I'm not, because this is the good scenario. What I see happening is Israel continuing to try to take out Hezbollah and winding down. Whether there's a ground invasion or not, I'm hoping that, as they said, that this is the pivot, that they went and they cut off the head of the snake, and they're okay with all this. Israel's not stupid. They know that a ground invasion will have a lot of casualties. They're fresh off basically a year of ground invasion in Gaza. So I think what they're going to do is keep doing this, keep trying to take out ammunition and keep them scattered and on their heels, and try to take out Hezbollah at this point, and this larger war will come at another time. Whether it's a year, 5 years, I don't know. So that's kind of, I don't think Iran is stupid enough to go and take it on, unless there's some kind of a coalition. unless all these countries come together and try to take on Israel as one, and I don't see that happening. I can't see anything stopping Israel's push forward to do what they want to do, to take out Hamas and Hezbollah and basically secure the region. Now, there is another X factor, which some of the people in the thought circles of Israel have this idea of greater Israel. Now, what's that? Basically, they see the Litani River south as Israeli territory. They see portions of western Iraq and Syria as Israeli territory. They see, parts of Egypt as Israeli territory. So basically expanding the country of Israel through war and incursions that go west, north, and south, or excuse me, east, north, and south. I don't know about that, though, because I don't think anybody would be okay with them, doing a little empire building in the region. Now, of course, they're going to say it's a buffer zone. We've heard this from other countries before, like Russia, that's saying that they need a buffer zone. But I don't know. Personally, I think they're going to keep going after the upper management and Hezbollah, what's left of them, through airstrikes and targeting. I think they're going to try to avoid a ground invasion at all costs. I think resistance fighters will come to the region and keep things interesting for a while. But I don't personally think right now that there is a larger war that is coming, unless Iran can somehow get the backing of Russia and China, whether it's just through support or whatever, come to the aid of Iran, and then they decide to take on Israel. I don't see that happening. So that is my assessment. That's what I'm thinking right now, because I think it's the most realistic. So remember, people don't like to die. Most people do have a sense of, self-preservation. So, you're always going to have your people that are going to go fight in the name of God and all that. But most people aren't going to put themselves into a situation where they're going to be taken out, especially politicians, because politicians are basically all about themselves. So they like their comfy lives and all that, and they're not going to do things to make things go too crazy. So there you have it, folks. That is the death of Nasrallah. I hope I'm right on some of this. I don't know. We'll see. I've been wrong before. But I'm hoping that all of this just kind of starts to wind down. And it's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen next month. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It's going to take a long time. But if we can avoid a ground invasion, I think we'll be in a pretty good place, all things considered. But there's a lot of X factors that could happen. There's a lot of people that could say, you know what, we're tired of you taking out, innocent people in places like Lebanon. And again, don't forget that there are a lot of innocent people that are dying from all of this. There were numerous people in the area of Nasrallah that were in these residential buildings. They chose this area for a reason, because they knew that it would make Israel think twice about taking it out. Should they go for this maneuver? But Israel went for the maneuver. They took out Nasrallah, basically leveling 6 buildings and then some. So, all right, there you have it. So, friends, hit that like button, do the subscribe thing if you're new here. Generally, I keep this over on the Crisis Report. If you're looking for that, that is youtube.com/@CrisisReport, all one word. I do this nightly over there. The big fight, I think, is going to come in Eastern Europe. So all you doomers out there that are hoping for a little bit of doom in your life, or you think it's going to get kind of crazy, I think where it's going to get crazy is in Eastern Europe. So we shall see. All right, friends, God bless, and we will see you on